Hey everyone, and welcome back to History Uncorked. Today, we're diving deep into a beverage that's become a quintessential part of American culture, yet its name often sparks a bit of confusion: root beer. You know that distinctive, sweet, and bubbly flavor, that creamy finish that makes it so unique? But have you ever truly paused to consider its origins? What exactly goes into this iconic drink? And the million-dollar question: why on earth is it called beer when, for most of its modern existence, it contains absolutely no alcohol? To unravel this mystery, we need to embark on a journey through time, stretching back far beyond the invention of your local soda fountain or even the first commercial bottling plant. Our story doesn't begin in a factory, but in the vast natural landscapes of North America with the wisdom of its indigenous peoples. For centuries, long before European settlers arrived, the indigenous communities of this continent were profound naturalists and skilled herbalists. They possessed an intimate knowledge of the plants around them, understanding their properties and how to harness them for health and well-being. From roots and barks to berries and flowers, they crafted a variety of medicinal teas and tinctures. Imagine nature's own pharmacy, where ingredients like sassafras, sarsaparilla, and wintergreen were not just flavors, but powerful remedies. These concoctions were revered for their immune-boosting, anti-inflammatory, and general healing properties. They were quite literally root medicine, integral to their health practices and daily lives. Now let's fast forward to the arrival of European colonists. They brought with them their own rich traditions, one of the most significant being the practice of brewing. In medieval Europe, and continuing into the colonial era, small beer was a common and crucial beverage. These weren't the strong, intoxicating ales we often associate with beer today. Instead, small beers were low-alcohol brews, typically hovering around 1 to 2% alcohol by volume. Their primary purpose wasn't recreation, but necessity. In an age where clean drinking water was a luxury and often unsafe, brewing small beer provided a safer, more hygienic alternative for hydration. It was also a source of nutrition and could be consumed throughout the day without leading to incapacitation. When these European colonists observed the indigenous peoples utilizing sassafras and other native roots for their beneficial properties, a fascinating cultural fusion began. The colonists, accustomed to brewing as a means of creating safe and nourishing drinks, naturally applied these familiar techniques to these new, intriguing ingredients. They combined these potent roots and botanicals with water, sugar, and yeast, allowing the mixture to ferment. And because this new beverage was created using the same fundamental brewing process as their traditional beers, albeit with roots and herbs instead of grains, they bestowed upon it the familiar, yet now somewhat misleading name, root beer. For many years, root beer remained a cherished, often homemade regional drink. Recipes were closely guarded family secrets, passed down through generations, each with its own unique blend of botanicals and spices. It was a local delight, enjoyed for its refreshing qualities and perceived health benefits. But this all began to change dramatically in the 1870s thanks to the entrepreneurial spirit of a Philadelphia pharmacist named Charles Hires. The legend goes that Hires, while on his honeymoon, tasted a particularly exquisite root beer at an inn. He was so utterly captivated by its flavor that he persuaded the innkeeper's wife to share her secret recipe. Inspired, Hires returned home with a grand vision: to bring this delightful beverage to the masses. His initial idea was to market it as root tea. However, a shrewd friend, perhaps with a more astute understanding of public perception and marketing, advised him against it. Root tea sounded too medicinal, too delicate, perhaps even a bit effeminate for the tastes of the time. To appeal to the hard-working, often hard-drinking coal miners of Pennsylvania, Hires made a brilliant and pivotal decision. He renamed it root beer. This rebranding was nothing short of a stroke of genius. Charles Hires, a devout Quaker and a staunch advocate for the temperance movement, saw an incredible opportunity. He marketed his new root beer not as an alcoholic indulgence, but a wholesome, family-friendly, and invigorating alternative to alcohol. It was a drink that promised refreshment without the moral or physical consequences of spirits. His timing was impeccable. The 1876 Philadelphia Centennial Exhibition provided the perfect stage for its debut, and Heyer's root beer became an instant sensation. It was soon being sold everywhere, initially as a convenient powder, then as a concentrated syrup, and eventually in bottles, marking the true birth of commercial root beer. This success story paved the way for a whole new industry and inspired countless other brands. As the 20th century dawned, root beer's popularity continued to soar, reaching unprecedented heights during the era of Prohibition from 1920 to 1933. With alcoholic beverages outlawed, people eagerly sought out non-alcoholic alternatives that still offered a sense of occasion and enjoyment. Root beer perfectly filled this void. It became a staple in soda fountains and homes across America. This period saw the rise of other iconic brands that would become household names. A&W, founded in 1919 by Roy Allen and Frank Wright, introduced a groundbreaking innovation, serving root beer in frosty mugs, transforming it into an even more refreshing and memorable treat. Barq's, which began in 1898 by Edward Barq, offered its own distinct flavor profile, often including a kick of caffeine, further diversifying the market. These companies, alongside Heyer's, grew into the giants we recognize today, firmly cementing root beer's place as a beloved American classic. However, the story of root beer isn't without its scientific twists and turns. Remember that key ingredient, sassafras, which gave early root beers their signature flavor? For centuries, its medicinal properties were celebrated, but by the mid-20th century, scientific research began to uncover a darker side. Sassafras oil contains a compound called safrole. While naturally occurring, studies in the 1960s revealed that safrole could be carcinogenic, meaning it had the potential to cause cancer, particularly liver cancer, in laboratory animals when consumed in significant quantities. This discovery led to a pivotal moment in root beer's history. In 1960, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, took action, banning sassafras oil as a food additive. This meant that commercial root beer manufacturers could no longer use raw sassafras oil in their products. So the root beer you enjoy today, with its familiar taste, is crafted using safrole-free sassafras extracts or a carefully balanced blend of other natural and artificial flavors. These often include wintergreen, anise, licorice, and vanilla, all expertly combined to meticulously mimic that classic, beloved root beer taste without the health risks. It's a testament to innovation that the flavor profile has been preserved while ensuring consumer safety. So, the next time you take a sip of that fizzy flavored glass of root beer, you'll carry with you the knowledge of its incredible multifaceted journey, from its origins as a vital indigenous medicine to its transformation into a colonial small beer, from a pharmacist's clever marketing genius to its explosion in popularity during Prohibition, and finally its modern evolution to ensure safety and deliciousness. Root beer is truly a fascinating sip of history. It's a drink that genuinely has deep roots and a story that's anything but small. Thank you for joining us on this historical uncorking. If you enjoyed this journey, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more captivating historical dives, and let us know in the comments what other historical beverages you'd like us to explore.